I would like to specially thank Principal Dr. Shukla Mahanti, uh, Training and Placement Coordinator Ma'am Dr. Ratna Mitra, Training Placement Officer Swati Agarwal for their consistent support in order to do this. So we are 360 mentors, and our focus is to help the underprivileged and students from small town to help them provide the skills and tools so that they can progress in their career in order to meet the right. So 360 is acting as a bridge to for the right demand, groom the skills from small town to meet the right demand. That's our mission. Our vision is to create a world where every person has access to equal opportunities and they can reach to their full potential. With that, as you all know, this is our third session on social media to grow your professional network and find better possibilities for you. As an engagement, we have four sessions, and so if you attend like one session, you will get like 25% of the benefit. If you attend three, 75. Likewise. So that's how we have created the entire content, that how you should build your career, how you should do which courses are suitable for you, and then how you should put it and market yourself as a product, and then we go to the job market. So it's all four are interconnected, and all four have different values. In these programs, we will try to deliver with our maximum capacity that what all things you should do. So I and my guest speakers would provide you and would deliver you details, and now it is up to students and to absorb that information, and then utilize this into a practical knowledge, form teams, and followed by which is nothing but the experiential learning program, which is nothing but you need to come up with your own idea, form team, make a project, and then compete within yourself and then demonstrate it. In that, what you can do is for I can give you one examples, because I was speaking to Swati ma'am about it, and then we thought that given an example would help students to come up with their own ideas. So what you can do is like some student who have already who have learned the art to make digital presence, like building the mobile app or web page. So at this point of time, home care is one area which is very important, especially at this scenario. So you can build an app for home care, old age or child care or something, wherein the technical team can build, the home science or interested students can skill themselves up with taking courses on home care, nursing, and those things, and then they can be part of the resources who can go and deliver. So something of this, or you can build an app, as Dr. Padania last time, our guest speaker, suggested. You can learn graphic designing and make your digital presence in graphic designing courses, and build something in Sanskrit. Like there's a movie in Sanskrit which is completely based on a very good story. So this is like first time crowdsourcing project which was built on. So helping building on these things would help you define you as a as your holistic approach. So these things would help. So in our today's agenda, as I mentioned, we will cover social media, and focused LinkedIn, and LinkedIn, how you should utilize LinkedIn. Our guest speaker from LinkedIn, she would give the demo and talk more about it. And I would also talk about the other social media platforms, how you should build onto that to support what you're trying to portray in LinkedIn, followed by fireside chat, the homework, and question answer in case there is any. So before starting, I would like to put a disclaimer here that the views and the sessions are on the personal. These are the personal views, not authorized by any company, which is Nike, Cognizant, or LinkedIn. So to start with, you guys all know me. I'm Lipsy. I'm born and raised in Jamshedpur. Did my engineering from Bharati Vidyapeeth University, Pune. And from that time on, I've been working with a technology company across different domains and different clients. Royal Bank of Scotland, so banking domain, health and healthcare, retail. And from last couple of years, I'm working with Nike. I'm also the founder of 360 Mentors. I really enjoy impacting life in a better way, and I like to learn, make meaningful connections. That's what I like to do. Um, so, with this, I would like to invite my guest speaker, Girta, and friend, a very good friend, Girta Malaj, who also works at LinkedIn. Girta, would you like to talk about yourself?
Yes, hi Lipsy. Thank you so much for having me here. I really enjoy speaking to students and young people who are eager to learn more about from tech or how to grow their careers, and other challenges that young people face nowadays. So I'll go right ahead and give you a little bit about my life and my background, and then I'll actually use my LinkedIn profile to share sort of best practices. That might be an interesting direction we'll take this into. So I was born and raised in Albania. Actually, in the US, where I live now, a lot of people don't know where that is. And the shortcut I say is, between Italy and Greece. It's a beautiful place. However, not many opportunities there. So I moved to Boston for college, uh, basically university, and then I ended up staying. So I lived in Boston for 11 years for undergraduate school, graduate school, several jobs. Then one of my jobs was at IBM, and actually, Lipsy, am I able to control this, or will you be going to the next slides?
Um, you
Oh,
can present your screen. I will stop presenting it, Girta.
okay, sounds good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Let's see.
I have stopped presenting. Yeah. And students, I would recommend you to please pin Girta's screen because now she is presenting her deck, and she is going to give demo as well on the profile how you should and main pointers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
So I chose the most beautiful pictures I could find of Albania on the left, Boston in the middle, and San Francisco, where I live now, on the right. So, like I said, I'm from Albania. I lived in Boston 11 years for undergrad and grad school and several jobs. And now I found myself living in San Francisco with my husband. Very briefly on my education, I went to Wellesley College, also near Boston. I majored in math and minored in economics. And then I went to graduate school at MIT for a Master's of Engineering in Supply Chain Management, where I also received the Graduate Fellowship Award. My professional experience includes working at IBM as a SaaS consultant. So basically, it involved basically helping our clients utilize one of our tools that was around compensation data management. After that, I was a global lead of health tech initiative at a top 5 pharmaceutical company called Sanofi, primarily focusing on wearables and bringing wearables into clinical trials. The way I describe this is basically I was building an app for Parkinson's patients, or we were trying to figure out how to shorten clinical trials so that we would get drugs into the market quickly. This is very relevant right now with COVID, where we desperately need a vaccine in the market. So this is very relevant to my job. And now I found myself at LinkedIn working on product operations. I will show you in a little bit what that means. Okay, here it is. So basically, generally, product operations is the overlap. If you think of a Venn diagram, it's an overlap of product, customer success, and engineering. It looks different in different companies. So I won't bore you with too many details, but at my company is essentially an overlap of what I've shown here. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to save them for our Q&A. I'm happy to answer
Yeah.
any type of questions. So I put together these resources from LinkedIn, and when Lipsy sends out the deck, you'll be able to click through these. These are hyperlinks. So I wanted to remind everyone that even though LinkedIn may sound new, it's actually at this point 18 years old. It's been around for 18 years, and there's such a wealth of information out there on how to utilize it, what it can do for you beyond just your profile. So I would really recommend that you go through these resources and try them out for yourself. So some of the highlights, I'll go over them very briefly, is the Help Center. I actually, working on the Help Center is a core part of my job. There is a large team that works on making sure that the information there is accurate, up to date, is helpful. It includes best practices. So that entire team is there to help you utilize LinkedIn at its best. So that's why I put it as the top resource here. Make sure to go in and explore if you're looking for how to best network, how to find jobs, how to create a good profile. The Help Center will not fail you. Another resource is the LinkedIn Learning. I'm not an expert on this one, but I think you may need to have LinkedIn Premium to access it. Even if that's the case, we do offer a 1 month free of LinkedIn Premium. So definitely save that to, for when you most need it. But once you have it, for that 1 month, especially if it's around your job search, I recommend checking out the LinkedIn Learning. This is basically like Udemy or Coursera all at LinkedIn. Like there's hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on actually anything from SQL to how to do well in interviews to how to use Tableau, or all types of skills that you might be interested in. LinkedIn Learning is its own platform that has that. Not a lot of people think of LinkedIn when they think of like learning skills necessarily. So that's why I want to emphasize that it has so much to offer that might not be super obvious to people. Another one is the LinkedIn blog. This is different from the Help Center. Help Center is primarily sort of helping you figure out how to utilize how to use things. The LinkedIn blog is elevated into even more usefulness, and it includes things such as like 20 steps to a better LinkedIn profile. It's more sort of sensational and marketing focused than the Help Center. But absolutely, a huge team makes sure that the information there is accurate, is kept up to date. As you can see already, there are articles about 2020, and highly recommend using that as well. So a few other resources. That would be the premium trial. So before getting at LinkedIn, actually even before my last job, I got premium link. I'm not here to sell LinkedIn at all, but the premium version unlocks a lot of potential. So some of the things there are being able to send messages to people that you don't know, and I can chat about that. I can talk about that in a little bit. So check out the trial; it's free. But make sure to take good advantage of it before you lose the free trial. The email for networking. So I wanted to pause here a little bit because this is very key. So networking is very powerful in today's world, where, at least in my experience in the US and from what I hear from my my network, is that it's much, much easier to get a job if you have someone who refers you internally, rather than just sending an application online without following up or without knowing anyone in the company. This is a good and a bad news. So bad news is, if you're just throwing the applications out there, even if you're very very well equipped to do the job, unfortunately, especially for top companies, the applications are lost amongst hundreds others. The good news is there's usually people have few degrees of separation amongst each other. So if you find someone who knows someone at the company you want to work for, you can learn more about the company, learn more about the role that you're interested in, and hopefully even get an internal referral. So this is very key in job search, as I was saying. Therefore, being able to reach those connections is very key. And LinkedIn email, which is a messaging functionality within LinkedIn, allows you and empowers you to do this networking. So let's say you want to work for LinkedIn, and let's say you're friends with Lipsy. You can say, hey, Lipsy, can you make an introduction to Gerta? I would love to learn more about her job and her company. Lipsy can do this through email, and then you can reach out through email. So I'm just giving an example. And you can do this for all types of companies. And then lastly, follow relevant LinkedIn pages. So again, when people think of LinkedIn, usually they think of just their own profile and maybe their network's profile. But there's so much more. Like I've outlined here, there's a help center, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's a blog, the premium, the email, and there's also LinkedIn pages. So there's company and university pages, but there's also pages around groups and what you have in common with people. So definitely utilize those as well, such as your alum network or people who have common interests. I wanted to see if we're good so far. Let's see, are we good to
Yes,
go on the...
yes. We are good. We have plenty of time. No problem. You please go ahead with all your information.
Awesome. So I am switching to show you my actual profile because I wanted to make this very concrete. Instead of saying like, make sure your photo is up to date or whatever, I'm going to show you my own photo and my own profile. Okay, so let's do this. This is what my profile looks like. From the perspective of my husband. One thing if I were to log into my own profile, it would look like I have to edit it. So this is from the perspective of my husband. So let's start with my picture because that's what comes up first. So I'm going to zoom in. Here I'm wearing a professional jacket, and then I'm smiling. It's not super filtered. So you want something professional, but it depends on the industry you're going for. I was going for tech, so I didn't need to have, like, for example, for guys, like you need to be mindful of what industry you're going into. You don't want to wear a tie at a tech interview. So be mindful of what you're going for. In this case, I didn't have to be extremely dressed up because I was going for a tech job, but also you still want to look professional. So like nothing too like that says party on it. I may have used a slight filter here. I don't remember, but it's not very obvious if I have or have not. So try to keep the filters down. Again, like you want to, your picture should be like almost in my head. I'm thinking like mom approved. If my mom is not scandalized, then I'm doing fine. One thing I want to bring up as well is the URL here. If you don't already have your own personalized URL, it might be a good idea to put your first name, last name, or maybe one of those. Again, keep this short and professional, and sort of nothing like Gerta Male 1 2 3 4 5 6. Actually, I'm going to tell you a quick story. At one of my previous jobs, my manager was hiring, so she was looking through people's resumes, and people who are hiring can be extremely picky. So one thing she was picky about was having an email address with numbers in it. A friend of mine whom I referred for this role had an email address like, for example, Gerta Male 21 or 12. And so my manager almost disqualified her just because she had numbers in her email. So hiring managers can be extremely picky. And I know it's not fair because it doesn't necessarily correlate to how well you would be doing at your job. But This is the landscape of the job search. So you want to give people no reason to disqualify your applications, your resumes, your profiles. So keep things very simple and straightforward. I can address as well my background photo. LinkedIn is, as you know, like a very chill tech company in SF where we wear jeans in the office back when people would go into the office. So I just put my background photo is just like a black and white picture of SF. I think city pictures are fine. Maybe something like, very simple. Nothing too, nothing too wild. Again, mom approved. As long as your mom wouldn't be scandalized, that would be fine. This also matters, again, what industry you're looking to go into. I know consulting is much stricter with like how they want people to present themselves. And then tech is a lot less, picky with these things. Okay, what else? So here I made sure to have my current company and then my school. At the top, you get to choose actually what you put there. And then I kept it very simple. It's also because I'm not looking for a new job right now. But I kept it very simple, that saying like, oh, I do product operations at LinkedIn. If anything, if you're going for a stricter industry, you might not want to shorten words. Maybe ops should have been operations, and maybe not use an @ sign. Again, like these are very small and might seem insignificant, but you wouldn't believe the things people will just like throw out your resume for. The about section, I have heard mixed messages about this. So there are people who don't look at it at all. There are people who look at it but don't care. There are people who actually really care. Again, you want to do what's safest. And you want to, in my opinion, you want to keep it short and sweet and clean and nothing controversial. So I kept it as like I said, short and sweet. I talked about what my professional and personal interests are, which in this case is, problem solving, tech, behavioral sciences, and social impact. So you want to give yourself a little bit of depth, both showing your professional interest, but also a little bit of personal. In my case, I didn't want to intimidate my future employers with, so I have an app that I built a couple of years ago, and I didn't want them to think that I'll just up and leave and work on my app as a full-time entrepreneur. Some people see that as a plus. Some employers are like, wow, this person is so entrepreneurial. But then some people could be like, okay, maybe she'll just leave us. She's not here for the long term. So I wanted to play it safe. And I said that Delphi, my app, is a recent creative outlet. So I didn't say anything about it being like my startup or anything, which it's not. It's just an app. It's not a real startup. But things to keep in mind, like I'm just saying this to make you aware of like what your employers are thinking. My activity I have shared, I didn't even know what this looked like. Generally, the things I comment on or share or like, they're things that are not very controversial or that I want to associate with my identity and my profile. So generally, sorry,
please go ahead. That was my...
Okay. Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
So, I made just a simple best of luck comment here. I did support during the Black Lives Matter protests in SF recently. I wanted to support one of my African American colleagues and shared one of her posts. And then just very, very like clean comments and likes. Again, especially if you're job hunting, you don't want to give people any reason to disqualify you. Okay, so experiences. Here, one thing you want to think about, again, if you're targeting a particular role or industry, you want to highlight those types of experiences and skills in your profile. Think of your profile almost as your resume. It can have a lot more things than your resume does, but don't make it too distracting. So I try to keep it short and sweet here too. So I'm not looking right now for a job, so I didn't really dive too deep into what I do at LinkedIn. But just listed very briefly, like a short paragraph in each of the roles that I've had. And highlight, like, try these, like, I won't go into resume feedback because that's a whole other conversation we can have another time, but try to have quantitative things such as, the projects I led were X million, or I went to these many countries, or I did X number of things. So that's actually more of a resume advice. Okay. Let's see. I wanted to check how we're doing on time and how many more minutes you think we have on this.
We have a good amount of time,
Okay.
Gato. We are well, going good. I wanted this demo. It is very valuable for all of us. At least I would implement these things in my LinkedIn. I would recommend students to also implement these things in their professional LinkedIn profiles. So we are
Awesome.
good. We have 30 more minutes, and we can definitely cover after the demo the 5 round chats and Q&A.
Okay.
So I would
Perfect.
request students who have any questions to put down their questions in the chat box.
Yep.
Thanks.
So great. So we have some more time. Education. So one thing to keep in mind with education, and this took me a while to figure out, and I was actually taught this, or I was mentored to do this. You might not necessarily want to put the year of your education here, although it depends. If you're like a recent student, maybe it matters. They might want to know when you're graduating or whatever. But the reason why you might want to consider not putting your years, like when the date of your graduation here, is because some people might deduce from that you don't have enough experience. The thing is, like, nowadays we're all doing things on the side. We're all doing, internships or taking side projects or doing all types of things. So the year when you're graduating does not necessarily mean you don't have enough experience, but we don't want people to make that assumption. So consider not putting it there. If you have some other reason why you want to put it there, I'm sure that's fine. Usually people can deduce from some of the things you put on your profile, but something to keep in mind, especially with women. You don't want to, like, show exactly how old you are. Volunteering experience. I really enjoy volunteering, so I add all of them here. In your resumes as well, I recommend adding your volunteer experience or anything you. Sometimes you might not even realize that the thing you did was volunteering. Think about all the things you've done. So, for example, one time I was approached from a friend who said, "Hey, I'm trying to raise money for Puerto Rico, which had a hurricane. Can you let someone crash at your place for a few weeks?" And like, yeah, absolutely. So that's how we raised money for Puerto Rico. You might not think of that as like volunteering, but that was a good fundraising/volunteering thing that communicates something about your values and your experience to your employers. So dig deep into what what you've done, including within your school, obviously. Okay, so skills and endorsement. So for skills, I'm not sure how much employers look at this. I think it probably depends on, let's say, how technical the roles you're applying to are. So maybe if it really matters that you know SQL, for example, then it might be good if people are endorsing you for data analysis or SQL in particular. I think I have mine here. Yes, someone has endorsed me. I personally, if I were hiring, wouldn't necessarily look at this too much, but it's a bonus. I don't think it makes or breaks your profile, but it's good to have. It's a bonus. But I wouldn't stay up all night thinking about this. Recommendations, I've also heard that this is, some people really care about this and some people really don't. So funny thing is, my current manager, she has a lot of recommendations on her profile, but she said that when she hires, she doesn't look for them, which is very interesting. So it doesn't hurt. I think it could help. So if you have some mentors in your life and you want to sort of level up your profile, it might be good to have some recommendations in here, especially to sort of separate your profile and stand out from other people's. But it varies from industry and team and even person, hiring manager, whether they look at this or not. So it's not, there's no one answer for this. In terms of accomplishments, again, dig deep into what you've done. Some things might not be immediately obvious. Like a lot of these, I would have forgotten unless I saw it in a friend's profile. I added my GMAT score here when I took it. I think some people care, some people don't care. Some people think like, why is she adding her like test scores here? So use your best judgment here, and again, keep in mind the industry you're applying to, and how your profile comes across to them. And then the interests, again, keep this clean and nothing controversial. I typically follow, people who are pretty famous, not super controversial, like the CEO of Microsoft. By the way, Microsoft, as you probably know, owns LinkedIn. So I'm following Microsoft. I'm following the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella. Keep like nothing too controversial, nothing like, I don't know, Taylor Swift. I don't think Taylor Swift will make a difference if you follow her or not, but maybe there are some other celebrities that people don't like. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to figure out if I missed anything. Definitely, if you're job searching, go to the job section and look for jobs there. Add people who are in your preferred industry and in your preferred roles. Utilize the messaging feature to reach out to people that you're, just for a chat. That's super valuable. But informational interviews, which we refer to like reaching out to someone to learn more about their job, those are super valuable, and like we can talk for another hour about those as well. Cool. I think, Lipsy, should we
Yeah.
move on to
Yes.
fireside chat?
Um,
I'll
I
just
would I would
forward.
cover rest of the social media. Um, this was majorly for LinkedIn, very focused on LinkedIn, so I can cover beyond LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yes. So, as thanks, Girta, that was a very valuable input that you have given. Even I am going to implement it, as I said. And I would like to give one example. As you said that mostly 80% of the jobs, they are not posted many a times in their website. Especially my current role, I got it from my manager's reference. So I just reached out to him that I'm looking for a project, specifically this, because he knew me and my skill set and my interests. So that is how my last previous two projects I received through reference and through the relationships. So it is very important to build the reference and the network eventually. So you establish that base by building that network, and you can use them whenever it's required. So keep building the base, keep connecting with people. That's very important. So LinkedIn is very focused for job, and apart from that, we shall definitely not ignore other social media. Why I'm telling you is because recruiters, if you think from their perspective, they want to know the resources they are hiring. They are very careful. They're very careful to pick the resources because they are also under some pressure that they want to hire the right resource. They don't want to mess with they don't want to hire a incorrect talent, or someone who is negative, or someone who does not have any other thing apart from the work that they do. So it's not break, but it's key, it's important. So recruiters, they go to your other profiles such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to find out that what kind of a person you are. Apart from your basic skills, what do you do? So suppose if you say that you are a mobile app development, so apart from your LinkedIn information that you mentioned that you worked on this app, if you can support it by evidences, it is always helpful. So that so you are actually helping recruiters to help you to hire yourself. So that is how we shall use other social media to support ourselves. If we can go to.
Yes. Lipsy, would you like to
Sure.
share instead so that you have more control?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. So as I said, you should help recruiters to help hire yourself. So it's always good practice to maintain your social media accounts accordingly. And so this is like you should do this. How you will do this is it's better to refrain from any negativity and controversy. So you need to identify the difference between supporting something for a cause and negativity and controversy. So as Geeta demonstrated, she helps support for a cause like Black Lives Matters or any other cause that she is supporting. That is positivity. That is positive. But just commenting, if a recruiter sees that you're always negative, you always provide negative comments about your immediate boss or your professor or somebody, so that's not a win situation. So avoid those things, avoid controversies as well. There are few things which are controversial, and if you don't have proper information, then it's better to refrain to provide your opinion on those things, in other social media, other social platforms. um, Next is mix professional with personal occasionally. So this is a very important point. This point I feel is most important when we want to utilize your Facebook, Instagram, or any other platform to name to support your job search or to support your career progression. So how you can do it is, normally we post pictures in Instagrams, right? We post pictures in Facebook, our travel picture, or if we are enjoying with family, so those pictures. So what we can do, we can also post pictures of our career progression, like work in progress things. So suppose if we are telling that we progress, um, we are building an app. Like you participated in this workshop, so you can take a picture and then you can post it in your Instagram or those things. Or if you are in the classroom, you can take a picture of your class or with your professor, with your class teacher, that you went for this trip, or like that. That's an example. Or another example could be if a student is active in sports or NCC or any cadetship, they are going for 26th January parade, or any event they are attending, they can post that. So that reflects as a complete personality development, that if suppose if I am doing it, I am not only providing them the detail that I am a software engineer, I develop platforms, but I'm also telling them that I'm inclined, I have interest in sports, and I do lead NCC cadet team, or I do lead the team. That also, so these experiences reflects your leadership skill or your team building skill. So, so that is how your personal experiences can tell a story to the recruiter about yourself. So that is how you can do a mix and match. So as I was saying, you should reflect your passion. So Like for example, for me and for you, I'll talk about both parties so that you can understand this better. So for me, I am a full-time software developer, team builder, but I am passionate about helping underprivileged and young women. So I'm doing this initiative. So I will put it in my social media. So this would reflect as my passion. I'm passionate about it, or I'm passionate about yoga or meditation. So I'll post pictures or post details, or I will elaborate more. I'll talk more about that. So that would reflect passion. Similarly, for you, you guys can post your where you are passionate about, not only about your personal experiences. So, and the fourth point I've mentioned, that is a subordinate of first, is as you restrict from giving your opinion on controversies. But if you have to, you can opt for another account, and you can comment your opinions on those things from another account, and to avoid any issue, to avoid any to avoid any challenges that recruiters may face to decide on the candidate. So just keep these things in mind, that social media should showcase you as your personality, as a personal development, and they want to know you as a person. uh, yeah, moving on, we can cover the fireside chat, which is, so first topic is, how can we utilize online presence? I guess we have covered all, but still, I would like to ask Geeta if she has anything to add on this topic.
Yeah, I think Lipsy, you also covered. I think we both covered most of it. I just want to reiterate that again, your potential employers and the hiring managers will be Googling you. Make sure to Google yourself and see what's out there. I constantly find new random websites that have scraped my data from somewhere else, and or I signed up for something and now they have my name on it. So make sure to Google yourself, see what's out there, remove things that you think would be problematic for a hiring manager or company. Um, a lot of my people in my network have started blogging, like having professional blogs. They talk about their thoughts on certain industries or certain, products or trends. That could be a great idea if that's your passion. So two things. One is remove anything potentially negative or that could be misunderstood. And two is you could add things that would be positive and looked positively upon. That's how I would summarize it.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
uh,
actually, I had a few more points on this.
Please.
Especially with Instagram and TikTok, which are a lot less formal platforms. Watch out for public profiles. Watch out for your public names. Perhaps keep your profile not public, or if you do, make sure you curate what you post very carefully. Unfortunately, this is the reality of today's world where we're all online. You want to make sure that you don't give people any reason to disqualify you.
True. True, very true. As you said, Girtha, I think I want to call it as, data does not die. So you delete it, as she suggested, if you feel something is controversial, right? So maintain your profile accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm. Next is, how online presence hurt or help our professional lives. It's very correlated, but I would like to hear Girtha's opinion on this one.
So yeah, we touched on this already, but I want to give an example. I am part of a very active alum network of my college. My college alums are very active online. And I have seen several people say something like, I want to hire this person, their resume is outstanding, but I saw a post they made on their Facebook. It's open to the public. I'm not sure anymore. It looked very unprofessional, or I saw them in a photo drinking. Yeah, even consider those types of things, like, are you in photos like drinking, or what are you wearing, and what what are you saying? Who are the people around you? I know you have the right to have your own social life and personal life, but unfortunately, like, your hiring managers will look everywhere they can. So it can definitely hurt. It could also help. It could help by, if you have a blog, or if you have signed up for a cool, like, I don't know, cool website, like, that is young people interested in, tech or VC or whatever. Like, oh, okay, she has interests and this looks good. So again, filter, Google yourself, and then look at it through, let's say, your grandma's eyes, not even mom's eyes.
One step further.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Geta has, we have already covered it earlier, but I would like to give one example here that one of the recruiters, one of my friend, she was not there in, I think her profile was not up to date for last 7 years in LinkedIn. So one of the recruiter and my manager, she reached out to me saying that this person does not even have LinkedIn profile. So she hireable? So it's always helps. So help side, I would like to cover the pros and cons. So having a LinkedIn profile, updating it in regular basis helps. What hurts, as we have already covered, is engaging into negativity. So that hurts. Uh, so I will give one example. Because I was part of the online course that I did, one of the MOOC that I did, and I became part of that member, the team which was there in LinkedIn as well as in Facebook. So that helped me connect with another company's recruiter. So you never know, from where the opportunity would knock your door. So it's always a good practice to be there in social media and utilize it in full capacity. When I say utilize it, be part of, like, if you're doing one online course, add it in your profile. Become the active member of that. Join that group, interact in that group. So you never know from where you will get the link, or any other opportunity. Not I'm not just talking about job here. So you may never know from where you're getting that opportunity. So that way it helped me to connect with some one of the recruiter from another company. So it's definitely a plus.
Actually, I wanted to add something here too. And I see in the chat someone asked, is LinkedIn useful? I would say, I know I'm biased, but even before I could even dream of joining LinkedIn, I would tell everyone how useful it is. So during grad school, I was approached by 2 different recruiters on LinkedIn, and they both led to job offers. And one of them is the one I ended up accepting at a top 5 pharmaceutical company. And the other was with Jet.com, which is part of Walmart, like literally Fortune 1. So I wasn't necessarily doing anything, outlandish. Like, I did all the tips I already walked through with you. And so, yes, LinkedIn can absolutely be useful in job search, at least.
Yes, and to come back to this topic, which is like how the online presence would help you. So I have another example wherein I added my other volunteer project to the group, and that helped me connect with the director of different tower, which was related to supply chain, and he mentored me and he suggested me, by seeing my work in the volunteer activity where I was helping others to teach them the skill. So he suggested me to take these Nike 1 day supply chain university training. So his mentorship helped me to do that, and that's when after 2 years I'm going to that course. So you never know who is guiding you where. So it would definitely help you in that perspective. So next topic is how reaching out to your network on a regular basis helps build your relationship. Kirta, would like to cover your opinion?
Yeah, we both covered this a little bit. So basically, I was saying what we call informational interviews are absolutely key in you finding an internship, finding a job, learning more about the, I don't know, grad school program or a boot camp or whatever. So what I was coached to do since undergrad is, let's say you have a goal, let's say you're looking for an internship or a job, go search on LinkedIn, people from your alum network, people from friends of friends, people who work at a company you're interested in, people who work jobs that you're interested in, on LinkedIn, and then either find someone who knows them and get an introduction, or just reach out to them, like find their email somewhere, figure out a way to, you could message them on LinkedIn if that's the type of profile you have. Reach out and simply say, hi, I'm this and this. I'm a student. I'm interested in this thing. Can I take 15 minutes of your day in the next week or two to chat with you? I would be extremely grateful. Honestly, people love to help, and 15 minutes is actually small, and it might end up being, longer, but 15 is the sweet spot, at least in my head, where like it's not that big of a commitment, so it's hard to say no to. And make it as easy as possible for them to say yes and to set it up. Like you can say, these are the times I'm free. I can give you a call. So be very proactive about the people you reach out to and the things you're interested in. Because if you're not doing it, other people are doing it, and they might get ahead just from this network. So networking is absolutely key in getting to the goals that you're looking for.
Completely agree that if you are not doing it, others are doing it, and let me tell you, they are doing it very aggressively. So it's that the hungry child who cries, mom gives milk to that child only. So uh, I feel it is very much relatable, and the amount of network. So do I feel it is very important to do in-depth networking. It is also important to cover the breadth of networking, but if you have in-depth relationship, it will help you establish, it will help you to do other things as well. So I feel meaningful connections are very important, but at the same time you should not miss on the breadth of networking. So if you have the, so suppose if you have a team, then only you can utilize your team, right? In a cricket match, until we form a team of 11, 12 players, we will not be able to utilize a good bowler or a wicket keeper or a batsman. So same goes in here as well. You want to reach out to somebody for a specific job, first you need to build your team. So not only LinkedIn, but entire social media platform you can utilize to build your team, so that you can utilize it whenever it is needed. Okay, so homework, coming back to this, before covering this, I want to ask how many of you have done homework for the second session that we had. You can put it into chat. I will wait for a few seconds for your chat, otherwise I will proceed. Has anyone done homework for the second session that we provided? Okay, I don't see any response, maybe. So I will proceed with this session's homework. I would recommend students to first go and take a headshot, that is just a picture as Geerta demonstrated of your face and in a professional situation, not in a party mode. And then create your LinkedIn profile if you don't have already, and go through the handout that she gave on slide number 12, which talks about the top LinkedIn resources. We have provided you a lot of information, links. You should Click on each and then check the details about it. And definitely you should review the recording after few days once it's available. The recording for the first session is available on the website itself, so review it by yourself in order to grasp the content. So create the profile, go through the content, the best practices that we are sharing today, and then polish your profile. Fourth point, as we have covered, it's very important. Build your team, that is, expand your network, add your professors, classmate, your pass out classmate, your seniors, right, in your LinkedIn. Become part of the right group. Follow influencers. So, the best practices, whatever we have covered, because we have covered a lot of information. So, one by one, if you try to implement all of it, that would become part of your homework. And right, when we say do sanity check, it's very important. That is nothing but delete if you have done any negative comments on something, and no controversies involved. That's nothing but sanity check in your other social media profile as well. Um, define your social media strategies, nothing but you do the mix up of your professional and personal. Add your work in progress projects, become part add your online courses that you are doing, whether from any platform. Add those things so that your work and your passion, your volunteering work, any project you're helping in, so that can be seen. So that's how you're building yourself as a product, so that hiring managers can understand you and then hire you for the right and better job. With that, I would like to cover Q&A. Um,
Ipsy, I did see one question there, other than
sure.
the is LinkedIn useful, which I already answered earlier.
Yeah.
The other question is, I want to ask that if we desire for something, how can we be consistent for that? I find that consistency is the major thing when we're stuck. What should we do to maintain the consistency? Um, this is an interesting question. I would love to get some more clarification if you can. So are you wondering about motivation, how to stay motivated, or how to evaluate your trade-offs between something you know was initially your goal or not? So there are many ways to approach this. Feel free to clarify in the chat, but I'll just make some assumptions. Um, I think if you have a goal, it's absolutely critical to evaluate what the trade-offs are. So for example, I wanted to build the mobile app myself. So I started teaching myself how to build iOS apps through the Swift language. And halfway through the course, I realized it would be a major ramp up for me to get to a point where I build the app myself. And I was more interested in sort of doing the mock-ups, figuring out what people want, and all the other parts of it other than actually sort of building it myself. So I realized that the trade-offs were not where I was hoping for initially. So I pivoted. And what happened is I found someone to work with me on it. I focused on everything else other than coding it. This other person coded it, and we were able to launch within a few months. So definitely evaluate trade-offs, evaluate priorities, evaluate your goals. And if you are committed to it, then I say figure out a way to get accountability. So maybe you can have a group of people who are cheering each other on and helping each other stay motivated. So let's say you're trying to learn a new coding language or you want to launch a project. Maybe get 2 or 3 other friends and meet every week or every other week to stay motivated and motivate each other and stay accountable to each other. There are so many distractions in today's world with everything that's going on and with all the enticing social media. So I know it's hard to stay motivated, but find ways to sort of trick your brain to stick to it.
Completely agree. These are the main pointers we shall have. So as you suggested, I think I also infer the similar thing, that she wants to know that how she can be consistent. as Shweta mentions, because that's where her challenge is, that we lose consistency. So first thing is, we want to, if we set a target that I'm going to run 400 meters race, I should be very clear that why I want to run 400 meters race. Like, I would be very interested to run that race, but my Geta might not be. So for running a 400 meters race is not important, is not a goal for Geta, but it's for me. So if everyone has different goals, so first thing is to identify your goal. Second thing is to form a team with common goals. So, like, if not Geta, then someone else X would be interested in that. So form a team, because it could be long and tiring journey. So form a team, be accountable, and meet, yeah, and interact regularly. Like, have a recurring meeting every Sunday, right? So every Sunday you meet, that way your brain is active. You will be thinking on Saturday at least that, oh my god, I did not do anything, what I need to do now. So there should be something, you're accountable for it. So completely agree with Geta here. There's another question I see, I'm not able to understand, which talks about that I want to know whether LinkedIn recommends you. I want to know whether LinkedIn recommends you jobs based on your qualifications or not, because it is quite tiresome to hunt for jobs around the web suitable for you. Yeah, so I think, Gerta, I would let you answer this and then I will put my comment.
Yeah, sure. So this is a great question. Here's some of my thoughts. One is, so I learned this recently, and it might depend on the company, but when you're reading a job description, look for, usually they have like basic requirements and then they have preferred. So usually the sentiment is that you want to fulfill all their basic requirements and you want to fulfill most of their preferred requirements. So this is how you generally approach it. The second piece is, again, I'm not here on behalf of LinkedIn, so I don't have that sort of background, but I think when you search on LinkedIn for jobs, it usually gives you a sense of, who has applied, and like, for example, for me, sometimes you'll say like, oh, you're in the top 20th percentile for this particular job. So basically, of all the people who have applied, you have a master's and you fulfill some of the requirements. I don't think it does that for all jobs, but that's one thing you can utilize LinkedIn for. Honestly, if you don't know what you want to do, you will need to hunt around, like you say, around the web a lot. But yes, LinkedIn lets you search for jobs in it. Actually, Lipsy, would I be able to
Yeah,
share my screen? I
yeah, sure. I
think.
will exit
Okay.
stop
Just,
sharing and you can share.
I don't know if people have ever used this before, so I thought it might be helpful. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Now I can see a screen.
Okay, so what I did is I went to jobs, and so there's a job symbol up here. Actually, my husband, whose profile I'm from right now, he doesn't have premium. So this is what anyone who doesn't have premium would see, which is good. So you can save jobs that you like. It has a list of the applied jobs. You can set alerts. So I remember when I was job hunting about a year ago, I set an alert for, if Facebook has any job openings, I want to know. Or like if anyone has product manager or product operations manager, I want to know. So you set an alert. And then some other few things you can do here. Then you can search for your job. So I'm going to search, I'm just going to make this up, like product manager, for example. When you search, you can filter by experience level. So typically, if it's an internship, you can just check internship. And I understand that it's a lot, but once you filter it for the companies you're interested in, you filter it by location, you filter by some other things, it will narrow it down. Like right now, yes, it's 1,000, but I haven't filtered by company location or anything else. And then again, one way to quickly skim, like I said, is usually they post things like, basic requirements and then preferred requirements. I'm trying to find one. So let's look at this intern. What? Yeah, I think here it is. Minimum qualifications. Um, so minimum qualifications, you want to make sure you have all of those. But then it says, actually, this one doesn't say it, but maybe somewhere else it says like, okay, but preferred is like, oh, we want you to have ABC, like an MBA or whatever. That's not a requirement. Yeah, and sometimes you might want to apply anyway, even if it's, even if you don't fulfill everything. But again, the best way to increase your odds is to have someone refer you from internally, like from someone who works at those companies. That is, one of the best ways to have um, increase your chances.
True. And I would like to add to for that question is I do get recommendations from LinkedIn, but even to get recommendations, you need to apply. So how it works, it's kind of machine learning. Suppose I apply for quality assurance job and I apply for product manager job. So if I apply for these two jobs, even in a week time, if I click on these job titles from certain companies, what will happen after few months, after few recurring things, the system with artificial intelligence, it would learn and it would always recommend you with quality assurance job or project manager job. So that's how it functions. So yes, LinkedIn does recommend you jobs, but you need to teach LinkedIn that which job you are interested in. So the more you exercise your job search, the better LinkedIn would be able to recommend it to you.
Yep, absolutely.
Um, with that, I guess we are done with questions. With that, I would like to tell that if you guys still have any questions, you can jot it down. Tell to your friends. You can collate all the questions. You can provide it to Swati ma'am, and then or yeah, she can provide it to me, and then we can address your questions eventually. So with that, I would like to thank my special guest Girta and the entire team and students, Principal Ma'am, Ratna Ma'am, and Swati Ma'am for consistently helping us in order for students to help. And I hope that our students would be able to absorb maximum by going through the same recordings and links again and again and forming and making their own team, because if we will keep giving them lectures, it's not going to work. You need to game up, come up and build something for you to absorb more and more and to achieve something, because we can only provide you direction, but it's you who has to walk the path. So until you do your work, it is not gonna make a difference. So with that, I would like to thank everyone, and then over to you, Swati ma'am.
Thank you so much, Lipsy. Thank you, Girta. It was really, really, really good. And definitely, students are going to get great help because with what you have given. And thanks for sharing a screen because I was not aware of that job tab. I wasn't using that either. So thanks to you. And we may keep a one more session for a quick Q&A specifically for the sessions which we had till date. Let's see, we can talk about
Sure.
that later on. Okay. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Ratna ma'am. Thank you, Principal ma'am. It was a great learning from both of you, and thanks to Pepsi for your constant effort and your zeal to teach our students. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, thank you and have a great night and
Thank
have a
you.
good night. Yeah,
Thanks for
Thank you,
having
ma'am.
me.
Yeah.
Bye,
thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank